AITA for refusing to cover for my brother at his parole hearing after finding out what he actually did. My family had told me my brother was in prison for a financial crime. I had written character references, visited regularly, and advocated for him for 3 years. Then, 6 weeks before his parole hearing, a victims advocacy group contacted me. My brother had not committed a financial crime. I am going to tell this carefully because there are people involved in this story who are not me and not my brother, and their privacy matters. My brother has been in prison for 3 years. When he was arrested, my family told me he had been convicted of fraud, financial crime related to his business. They showed me paperwork that appeared to confirm this. I had no reason to question it and did not look further. He was my brother and he was in trouble, and I helped him in the ways I could. Visits, letters, character references when his case required them. 6 weeks before his scheduled parole hearing, I received a letter from a victim advocacy organization. The letter was from a coordinator working with one of the victims of my brother's actual crime, which was not fraud. I will not detail the actual offense here, except to say that it involved real harm to a real person. It was serious, and the reason my family had described it as financial crime was to prevent me from knowing what it actually was. I sat with that letter for several days. I called the advocacy organization. I asked every question I needed to ask to be certain. I was certain. I withdrew my character reference. I contacted the parole board to inform them that my reference had been submitted based on incorrect information about the nature of the offense and that I was withdrawing it. My family's response was the worst of my life. My mother said I had betrayed him. My father, who had been part of telling me it was fraud, said I owed my brother loyalty regardless of circumstances. My brother sent a letter from prison that I have not opened. Am I the asshole? Update 5 months later. My brother's parole was not granted. I am not the only reason for this, but I was a factor, and I know it, and I have sat with it. I have opened the letter. I read it once, and then I put it away. I am not ready to describe what was in it. What I will say is that it did not change my mind about what I did. I have been in contact with the advocacy organization. Through them, and with the victim's explicit consent, because nothing about this is mine to take without consent, I sent a written statement acknowledging that I had unknowingly submitted a reference that may have served an outcome contrary to the victim's safety, and that I was sorry it had taken me as long as it did to find out the truth. I received a response. That response is private. My relationship with my parents is fractured in a way I don't know how to repair, because repairing it would require them to acknowledge what they did in deceiving me for 3 years. They haven't done that. They may not be capable of doing that. I am sitting with the grief of that. I made the right decision. I am as certain of this as I have been of anything. The certainty does not make it easier. NTA or ITA, drop your verdict below.